Kind of big picture summary. Let me just give you, my take from the 30,000-foot shot of what happened last night in the debate. I think that Tim Kaine was running for vice president of the United States. He was supporting his presidential nominee, Hillary Clinton, and presenting himself and saying, these are the things that I care about. These are the things that Secretary Clinton cares about. These are the issues, in my opinion. Mike Pence, I don't think was running for vice president last night. I think Mike Pence already believes that Donald Trump is going to lose. He didn't defend Donald Trump once in a serious way. I mean, he came out and says, yes, I'm pleased to defend Donald Trump, and then was given an opportunity to and passed. Said, oh, no, Donald Trump didn't say that. Well, yes, he did. Here's the video of it. That kind of thing. So I think that Mike Pence was running for president of the United States in 4 years, in 2020. And I think in doing so, what Pence did last night was he took out Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz was the guy for the hardcore Christian Taliban right in the United States. The people who want women to go back to being barefoot, pregnant, and only in the kitchen. And never have an abortion. The people who want the corporations to basically run and rule everything. The people who are, the defense contractors. He was clearly, sucking up to the fossil fuel industry, particularly the coal part of the fossil fuel industry. It'd be interesting to go back and look at his campaign contributors and see how much money the coal industry gave him to insert the phrase war on coal a half a dozen times, or however many times it was. But the Republican Party is like officially, well, not officially, but unofficially, the party of the 1% and the big corporations. And Pence did a reasonably good job. Yes, he had to lie to do it, but he did a reasonably good job with his incredible ability to lie with a straight face of presenting that argument of why he should be president in 4 years instead of Ted Cruz or any of those other wackadoodles. Or at least the Republican nominee for president. I would say he made a good presentation about why he should never be president. I mean, what kind of judgment does it take to say, yes, I'll be Donald Trump's vice president? Except that this is a catapult, right? This is the launching pad to 2020. And if Hillary Clinton is elected president, a lot is going to depend between now, between January and 2020. With how she handles things, including the economy. And I think it's good. We're in for, in my opinion, a really, really, really rough ride with the economy. And not to mention international affairs. I mean, we're on the brink of, well, not necessarily on the brink of World War III, but there are so many flashpoints around the world, from the Middle East to the South Asian Sea, China, Japan, Taiwan, all that kind of stuff, to India and Pakistan. I mean, some serious problems there. You've got in Central America, problems in Honduras. You've got Brazil just had basically a coup where right-wingers threw out the leftist president for no good reason. I mean, they didn't even present a good reason. It's amazing. It was a coup, in my opinion. So it's like there's all this stuff going on around the world that is going to represent a really substantial and serious challenge to the next president of the United States. Plus, how do we repair our relationships with Russia? Hopefully that's the goal. Somehow in the debate last night, all this discussion about Russia and Syria, nobody mentioned the fact that Russia's largest warm water port is in Syria. Ours is in Qatar. If Qatar was being attacked by ISIS, or for that matter by Russia, we would be defending them because we've got a giant naval port there. Russia has a giant naval port in Syria. Of course, they're going to support the Syrian government. That doesn't mean that everything is wonderful or that we should be supporting that or whatever. I mean, I think this is a very nuanced issue, and that's my problem with it, is it's being reduced to bumper stickers. In fact, I want to get Stephen Cohen back on the program here to talk about this in some more detail. So back to here's Mike Pence. This is clip number 4. His response to Elaine Quijano's "what about the debt" question. And, he's basically saying, we're going to do tax cuts. Yeah, that's going to help the debt, right? I mean, Reagan did his tax cuts that tripled the national debt, or nearly tripled it. George W. Bush did his tax cuts, nearly doubled the national debt. So here's oh, and we're going to repeal the Affordable Care Act. This is clip number 4.
Look, Donald Trump and I have a plan to get this economy moving again. Just the way that it worked in the 1980s, just the way it worked in the 1960s. And that is by lowering taxes across the board for working families, small businesses, and family farms, ending the war on coal that is hurting jobs and hurting this economy, even here in Virginia, repealing Obamacare, lock, stock, and barrel, and repealing all of the executive orders that Barack Obama has signed that are stifling economic growth in this economy. We can get America moving again. Put on top of that the kind of trade deals that'll put the American worker first, and you've got a prescription for real growth. And when you get the economy growing, Elaine, that's when you can deal with the national debt. When we get back to 3.5% to 4% growth, with Donald Trump's plan will do, then we're going to have the resources to meet our nation's needs at home and abroad, and we're going to have the ability to bring down the national debt.
It's Reaganomics pixie dust. Yes, indeed, just like Sam Brownback has. You know, he tried that in Kansas. He said, you know, we're going to make Kansas a laboratory of Reaganomics. Those weren't his exact words, but words to that effect. And he even had a state commission set up to keep track of the economic progress that they were going to have when they radically cut the taxes on the Koch brothers and everybody else who lives in Kansas. And it failed. And Kansas is in a crisis. And so Sam Brownback dissolved the commission. Pence wants to do this to America? Really?
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann program. Call 202-808-9925.
See, it's amazing. These guys, you know, just defending the 1% and the big corporations, tax cuts for billionaires, and somehow it'll all be wonderful. Now, I'm sorry, we've heard this before.